Okay, I think we got everybody here. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. Before I start, I want to introduce who's standing up here with me. Of course, to my right, we have our Mayor, London Breed. We have Lieutenant Tom McGuire, Captain Chris Delgandio, our DA, Brooke Jenkins, our Assistant Chief of Operations, David Lazar, and the President of our Police Officers Association, Lieutenant Tracy McCray. So again, thank you all for being here and attending this press conference this morning. First of all, we're here to talk about something very exciting to us, and that's the introduction of our drone program in the San Francisco Police Department. And before I go any further, I'd like to give thanks to our Mayor, London Breed, and our DA for being here, because it is her leadership that got us here and the Proposition E that voters passed in March. So I'm excited to announce that SFPD has successfully launched our drone program, and this is all, as I said, thanks to our mayor. Drones have truly been a game changer for our police department. Think about this. We've been without air support for over 24 years, since the early 2000s, and our officers have now a tremendous technology at their fingertips that other law enforcement agencies regularly use. Drones offer major benefits that our captain and lieutenant will discuss here shortly. Benefits include faster response times, situational awareness, tactical tools, more precision, de-escalation, more information to formulate a plan. Officer safety is enhanced, avoiding unnecessary police chases, and integration with other technologies, such as our flock cameras that we are putting up around the city as we speak. This is truly a force multiplier, and really, in light of all of our staffing shortages, this could not have come at a better time. Our first phase of the drone program included the purchase of 6 drones, with more on the way. Drones have already assisted SFPD in numerous cases, including a sexual assault suspect that was arrested, several auto burglary suspects that were arrested, 4th of July mayhem that, with the use of drones, we're able to basically de-escalate the situation and bring that situation to a successful and peaceful resolution very quickly, much quicker than we've done in previous years. And we've also arrested violent and wanted fugitives with help of our drone technology. We have policies in place to ensure that drones are used reasonably and responsibly with safeguards to protect the privacy of the public. All of our drone operators have FAA Part 107 certification, and we plan to increase the use of drones in the months to come to continue to drive down crime in San Francisco. So we are integrating drones with our other technologies, such as I mentioned just a minute ago, our ALPR flock cameras, and also our public safety cameras to more effectively and efficiently respond to crime. Crime is down in San Francisco. It's down lower than it's been in the past decade, and with drones, we think we can enhance that even more. Our officers are working very, very hard to make sure that this city is the safest city in America, and we will continue this trend with the help of drones. Our violent crime is down 12%, our property crime is down 35%, and again, I have to give thanks to the leader of our city, Mayor Breed, for making this all happen. And now, without further ado, I'll introduce Mayor London Breed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Scott, and thank you to our district attorney, Brooke Jenkins, the POA, President, Lieutenant Tracy McCray, and others from the San Francisco Police Department that are joining us here today. This partnership didn't just happen. It happened because we worked together. It all started when last year I had an opportunity to visit a number of our stations in San Francisco, our police stations, and I had conversations with many officers directly. And the feedback, time and time again, is we want to do our jobs, but we need more tools to do a better job for the people of San Francisco. And they would talk to me about technology and how other jurisdictions were using this technology and how effective it was. And so last year in October, we got together and we made an announcement based on that feedback. Proposition E was born. And we were at Alamo Square, where we know is a notorious place for car break-ins. We stood there to talk specifically about using technology, not just drone technology, but surveillance technology, and giving officers the tools they need, even in their reportings with their cameras, that can allow them to not only spend more time on the streets, but effectively do the job of police work that, as the chief has mentioned, leads to better and safer results. And I couldn't be more happy that the technology that we are finally putting out there, whether it's the flock cameras, which are also known as license plate readers, and the surveillance technology that will also be out there on the streets of San Francisco, to these drones. This is a game changer. And I must say that I didn't think it would be as impactful as it has been. It has been a game changer for our city. Last year, San Francisco saw the lowest crime rate we've seen in 10 years, not including the pandemic. This year, we're even 34% lower than we were in 2023. And this technology has been a real game changer. So we're excited about what this means. We're talking about people who are committing crimes in our city who are being not arrested in days, but arrested in hours. And having this technology has added additional value. But despite this technology, I appreciate the fact that this department has been working really hard on the retail theft operations, the bait car operations, and now with this new technology, we have another tool to help combat some of the issues that are plaguing our city, and they are seeing early results. So we will see more and more change as a result of this. But I want to be very clear. When you cross those lines here in San Francisco, there will be consequences. And I appreciate our district attorney because she is prosecuting those cases. But we have not abandoned our values of giving people second chances, providing a robust amount of programs that will get people on the right path, and working with different organizations and communities in order to help people. But once those lines are crossed, we have a job to do to protect public safety in this city. And now, with these technology tools, it's a game changer. And more importantly, there is more to come. This is only the beginning. The results are already showing very promising impacts in our department, and I am looking forward to seeing even more as we roll out, as I said earlier, more surveillance technology, training more of our officers to use to be certified and use drone technology, and making sure that we're taking advantage of every opportunity to keep the entire city of San Francisco safe. So we're really excited about this and looking forward for more to come.
Thank you, Mayor. So now we're going to hear from Captain Chris Delgandio and Lieutenant Tom McGuire. But before they start, let me just thank them for their leadership. You know, this Proposition E was passed in March. And the speed in which we have gotten this program together and actually procured drones, it goes beyond the police department, but it's really instrumental that these two gentlemen, along with Assistant Chief Lazar and many others in our department, their leadership made this happen. And before I turn it over to them, I also want to thank the other city departments, including our contract administration, from the mayor's office and the mayor's office staff and many others who have really did this with speed that's unheard of in our city. So the sense of urgency is the point that I'm trying to make here. We have a sense of urgency to make this a safe city and to do the things that the people in this city deserve. And that sense of urgency is the reason that we're here now, not even 6 months after the proposition has passed, to tell you that we have launched this drone program. So with that, I'll turn it over to Captain Delgandio and Lieutenant McGuire.
Thank you, Chief. Good. Good morning. I'm Chris Delgandio. I'm the commanding officer of our Strategic Investigations Unit. Myself, along with Lieutenant Tom McGuire to my right, we oversee the drone program. And this morning we're going to share some success stories with you. So, Evan, please. This is from July 4th, obviously. Fireworks being a major issue in our city. We were able, for the first time, to get a drone up overhead and get a visual observation of what was going on the ground without putting our officers in danger. While this footage was being streamed to us, we were able to come up with a strategic plan to get officers in place and disrupt this activity. As you'll see here momentarily, you can see the officers move in and disrupt the fireworks from being set and chasing folks out of there to create a safe environment for folks in the neighborhood. We were able to de-escalate that situation because we had a visual observation of what was going on from overhead. Again, as you can see, the fireworks stopped and the folks dispersed.
I'm going to talk about a couple of cases here of our dirt bike bandits that have been going around the city. Some of them just go out and kind of have some fun. Others are actually out committing some crimes. In this case, they're committing auto burglaries out in the Fisherman's Wharf area. Obviously a crime that's plagued the city for many years. And when they're on bikes, it's very difficult to combat this. And with this tool in hand, it's really enhanced our ability. This just from a week ago Friday. I want to acknowledge Sergeant Eric Batchelder, who's here. One of the most talented drone operators in the Bay Area, and he was able to maintain this footage. We were able to coordinate our resources on the ground and effect this arrest that took place right on the Embarcadero, and we're able to do this in a safe, effective, efficient manner. Without the drone, it's nearly impossible to make these types of arrests. So it was very successful. The next day, so that happened on a Friday night, this was the next night, Saturday night, and this vehicle was driving around in the area. Obviously our flock cameras detect stolen vehicles, stolen plates. This Nissan being a stolen vehicle alerted us to the area, and some of the officers had spotted it out in the area with people, these individuals peeking into windows of the cars. We were able to deploy the drone, get that situational awareness, and we were able to again coordinate with our resources on the ground, our citywide plainclothes, who's been instrumental in the impact of crime. We use tire deflation devices to safely affect this and prevent dangerous pursuits. And we were able to get those tourists all their luggage back. They were very pleased and surprised to get everything back intact. And it's just been, we've had a lot of success that without this tool, our officers are able to be more safe, more efficient, and it's been very successful early in the game. So again, much of the credits to Sergeant Eric Batchelder and others as well that participated with us in this. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you, Lieutenant McGuire. So now I'd like to introduce you to our District Attorney, Brooke Jenkins.
Thank you, Chief, and I'd like to thank the Police Department and our Mayor, London Breed, for working together to make this possible. What you just saw is the wave of the future, and sadly, San Francisco had been far behind the curve in having the technology that we need as a city to make sure that we can curb crime. And so I just appreciate the two of them working together to make sure that San Francisco as a city has what it needs to not only react once a crime is committed, but hopefully have a system that ultimately begins to deter future crime, because that's what we ultimately want, are fewer victims of crime in our city. And this is the beginning of being able to send a message that if you do things in our city that are illegal, you will be caught. A part of why I'm here is to announce that the second and third video that you just saw not only resulted in an arrest, but resulted in charges being filed by my office against the individuals who participated in those auto burglaries. And so we always have to look at the steps of the process. And so, yes, we do want arrests, but we also want to be able to have the evidence that we need as a DA's office to file charges against these individuals in order to hold them accountable. And as a result of that arrest and that footage, we were able to file auto burglary charges on individuals who, quite frankly, two of them are repeat offenders of crime. And, you know, as a trial lawyer, I tell you, jurors in 2024 expect to see what happened. They don't just want to be told by a police officer what they saw or what their perspective is. They would prefer to have the ability to independently evaluate the evidence in a case. And as you just saw, this is going to be key evidence that my prosecutors can use in the courtroom to not only establish for the jury that the correct person was arrested, identity-wise, but also be able to really convey and demonstrate to them what specific conduct occurred and who was responsible for it. And so that is why I have been supportive of the use of this technology from the very beginning, because as prosecutors, we have to be able to, one, know that we're prosecuting the right person, and also be able to prove that in court. And this technology will be essential in allowing us to do so. And so again, I commend the San Francisco Police Department for not being a bureaucratic agency that took months to figure out not only how to get and acquire this technology, but how to use it. Thank you for being on top of things and getting right to it and helping work together. And I think that's also the message today, is that no longer do we have divided leadership in this city. We are all on the same page about where we want San Francisco to go, and that is to be a safer city for its residents and for its visitors and for its business owners. And we are on our way there. Thank you.
Thank you, DA Jenkins. So in closing, just to sum up what you've heard here today, 2 of the 3 incidents that we just showed you involved people breaking into cars, which has plagued our city for decades. As we speak today, we're 56% down in car break-ins, about 5,700 or so car break-ins. This time last year, well over 13,000. This technology is only as good as the people who are willing to use it and use it effectively and fairly. And all the thanks for the use of this technology goes to the people in front of you, the lieutenant and the captain, and the sergeant, but also the officers, because they have embraced this, and as the mayor said, they asked for it, they embraced it, and they're putting it to good use. And we believe with all of our hearts that this is the game changer that we have told you that it is. And we believe that crime, even though it's at lows that we haven't seen in over a decade, then we can continue to do better and drive crime down even further. And let me give just one more thanks before I close, and that's to our Director of Crime Strategies, Ryan Cowell, who's in the room right here. Ryan, please raise your hand. Because we have to be strategic in what we do and how we use this technology. And Director Cowell and his team are part of that strategy to make sure that we're using this effectively, to make sure we're using it in a way that meets your approval, the people of San Francisco, and also make sure that we can continue to drive crime down. As I said earlier, we have a sense of urgency here, and we are taking this extremely serious, and we believe that this is a game changer in terms of our technology. So thank you, Mayor, thank you, DA, and everybody here, and we'll open this up for questions.
Sergio, you got a question?
Yeah, quick question. So my understanding in the history of San Francisco's aerial support unit is that it was ended in part because there were some crashes, right? What are some of the risks with using drones as opposed, it's kind of odd because some cities don't realize San Francisco doesn't have a helicopter support program. Can you talk a little bit about the risks of aerial support from drones in contrast to helicopters?
Well, there are risks with any piece of equipment. Drones can crash. Now, the technology is very advanced. Some of our technology has collision avoidance technology where it's almost impossible to crash in anything. We have to comply with FAA rules. There's flight patterns and things like that we have to be concerned with as we expand this. But those things, thanks to the diligence of our team here, we've done a lot of research, and we've looked at policies of counties and cities that around us. We've done field trips to other cities. So we believe that we definitely have taken all those risks into account, and our policies reflect that. We have 2 unit orders for the 2 units that are using these. And we believe that we've taken those things into account. So we've mitigated as best we can through policy. But there's always risks with using equipment. But drones are fairly safe. Not unlike a helicopter. If a drone crashes, it could cause injury and the like. But number one, you're not investing nearly as much in the equipment. You're talking about, a few $1,000s, if that, as opposed to, 7 figures or more for a helicopter. And I believe in helicopters, but short of that, this technology is really, really what we need.
Liz, I think you had a question.
Yeah, okay, so can you give us some insight into the deployment? Are these officers staged around problematic areas in the city, and that's when you are actually deploying these drones, or how are you responding so quickly?
Yeah, the investigation of crime. Prop E calls for, number one, if we can use them in pursuits, either mitigated pursuit. One of the cases that you just saw here, we were actually able to avoid a pursuit because officers were able to strategically put the spike strips down, and so when the suspects tried to run, they couldn't. So that's what it's all about. You know, we want to prevent as much as we can crime from occurring and pursuits from occurring, but in the event that we can't prevent them, it's very effective, and our bottom line is making sure we apprehend the people committing these crimes. So we use them for the investigation of crime. We use them if at the end of the pursuit, or in some situations maybe during the pursuit, if it meets the specifications of what the drone is capable of. And that's what the proposition called for, and that's how we've been deploying it.
But I was just wondering, do you have these drones around problematic areas in the city ready around those zones?
They've really been driven by the investigations. And so as Lieutenant McGuire pointed out, one of the cases you just saw, it started with the flock ALPRs alerting us that the stolen vehicle was driving around the city. Our officers then spotted the vehicle. Drone was put into play to track that vehicle, and we were able to then see them committing even more crimes, and we were able to apprehend them. I mean, that's a textbook scenario in terms of how effective these drones can be.
Does the department have a response to concerns that this violates state law AB 481 about notification on surveillance technology?
We don't believe we're violating state law at all. As a matter of fact, we believe we're in compliance with state law. We did submit an ordinance to the Board of Supervisors on June 3rd. That ordinance is still pending, but state law, as well as our city and county ordinances, we have a year basically to put this program in place, and then that'll be evaluated and approved. So when the next year's 481 report comes, this will be in it because we report for the previous year. So we believe we're in total compliance with state law.
Christian, you had a question?
Yeah, for those who are concerned about privacy issues, to clarify, these drones are not up kind of surveilling passively. This is my first question. And then I also had a question about how long the video is stored once that video is captured, and where is it stored? Is it stored in secure servers, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so yes, the servers are secure, and as far as the drone policy, we do have a retention. If it's a First Amendment type of thing that ends up necessitating the deployment of drones because of crowd management, crowd control situations, unless there's crimes committed, we don't store that, we don't save that. If it's a criminal situation like what the DA spoke about, we will save that until the crime and the case is resolved. Otherwise, is it 30 or a year? 30 days. So 30 days, we purge that information unless we can tie it to a crime.
And the drones are not passively surveilling. In other words, they're not just launched to watch over unless there's a suspected incident.
That's correct. So we're not just hovering, flying drones over the city just for, unknown purpose. When we deploy these drones, it's connected to a criminal investigation and or some critical incident. Like you saw on the 4th of July with the fireworks, that situation was getting out of control very quickly. It's those type of situations where we deploy. We don't just passively fly it around and looking for something unless it's very specific, mission focused on a specific crime or critical incident.
Is there time for 2 more questions?
Do you see this implementation as alleviating some of the recent complaints that seem to be surfacing about the new foot pursuit policy?
It'll be helpful for sure. We don't have the benefit or did not have the benefit of having aerial support. And especially in a foot pursuit when you're trying to set up a perimeters. I mean, that's a game changer. I keep using that word, but it's true because what happens when you don't have that type of support, you're much quicker to go into an apprehension mode. You try to chase the person until you catch them. When you have the luxury of aerial support, you can slow things down a bit. You can set up your perimeter. And these drones are very effective in terms of doing that. The operators, they know what they're looking for. We get the perimeter set. It's safer all the way around, and it's more effective. So yeah, it's really a big deal. And we believe it enhances our foot pursuit policy. There's nothing contradictory about it.
Last question, Spence?
Just 2 quick questions. One, how much does this program overall cost the city?
I have that right now. I think we are. Let's see.
We'll get that that to you.
Yeah.
The next question.
Yeah.
Well, did you find it?
Yeah, so the total cost so far has been $35,000. And that, in our budget this year, thanks to the board and the mayor, we do plan to purchase more. So that cost will go up as we purchase more drones.
The last one is a little bit separate from the drone conversation. There have been some claims made that in regards to all the encampments that are being cleared right now, that there's been unhoused people that have been arrested or jailed. Can you comment on that, or has there been like an uptick of arrests or anything like that?
So is this a drone question or is this separate? Okay, so let me just say this, even though it's not a drone question. Our officers have been instructed to enforce the law. And now that the Supreme Court and has made their decision, we've put out a department notice in terms of what we can and can't do, what we can enforce, and which is the law. So our officers have been instructed to do just that, enforce the law. And we want to make sure that we have a city that is a clean, safe city, and that's a part of it.
You guys, thanks for coming out.